Welcome to Your Hero Academia by Fangirl48 on AO3. Chapter 25 May Knows Best. A massive dust cloud waffled out thanks to 13th's attempt to help capture the villains. Unfortunately, no one was able to see what was going on below until the dust had settled, revealing the bitter truth of the leaders of the League of Villains escaped. On the top of the staircase, many of the teachers looked down, hands clenched at their denied vengeance for their colleagues' injuries. Goodness, they really caught up, unaware. Nezu spoke up, as Vlad King lowered him. We'll discuss this incident later. For now... Charming! A pink blur rushed out ahead. We should focus on the students. May ran to the side of the staircase, jumping and pushing a button on her shoes. A slight amount of pressure released itself as a wheel appeared on the bottoms. Sliding down the concrete railing, golden eyes are focused on only one person. If the teachers are here, I suppose there wasn't a main force attack to the rest of the campus? Todoroki spoke, looking up at the assembled faculty. Bakugo grunted, crossing his arms, eyes watching the shaking form of his so-called teacher. Man, guys, she's really coming fast, Kirishima said, watching the pink demon approach them. We really should get Midoriya Sensei. Crap. Toshinori thought, hearing the red-head words. Sensei! Kirishima yelled, running over and waving his hands. Under any other circumstances, Toshinori would applaud the student's attitude, but right now, in his current form, he only wanted the boy to go the other way. Hey, Oh, holy shit! At the same time, a giant wall of concrete rose from the ground, shielding the number one. A wrench came before Kirishima's face as May stopped before the hardened user. Golden eyes met red as May stood up, pulling her wrench from her small crater she had made on the ground. The inventor smacked her wrench against an open palm, her eyes, commanding Kirishima returned to where the other students were. But May gave the trio a sweet, businesslike smile, pointing to where the teachers were. Entrance! Sensing the dark aura surrounding the inventor, Kirishima nodded and returned to Bakugo and Todoroki. While the other two would only usually take orders from people, they were smart enough to know getting on the inventor's wrong side would not be the brightest idea they had all day, especially one who worked in making hero support gear. Now that the three were returning to the other students, May dropped her favorite tool and made her way over to Izuku. Her friend's face was pressed close to the dirt and shoulders shook, indicating he was crying. Dropping to her knees, May plants a hand on Izuku's shoulder. The boy jumped and looked at her, so May gave him an encouraging squeeze. Hey, charming. May? Izuku sniffled, rubbing at some of the dirt away. Honestly, the inventor said, leaning against the other and pulling him into a hug. For someone so old, you sure are a crybaby. Toshinori coughed, feeling a little blood escape. Young Hatsume, how's young Izuku? Is. Save it. Gloved hands rose as May looked at the deflated number one hero. I'm not stupid. I investigated things back home. That graveyard's been around for 200 years. Not to mention the house, which, by the way, kudos to whoever got rid of all the family pictures. Not even a digital image to survive. The whole place, physically and cyberly, was scrubbed clean. Izuku knew all the family pictures were probably hidden somewhere. No one could ever find them, like on a deserted island or a secret underground bunker. Even the ones of their parents, who Hisashi despised. The man could be so weird sometimes, keeping relics and keepsakes for the two he hated the most. Luckily, there was a flood a little over 30 years ago, May continued. Another room in the mansion's basement was found. Most of the stuff was confiscated quickly, but wouldn't you know it, one of the tour guides working there had secretly taken some photos. Wasn't hard to track them down and convince them to show me. Golden eyes slide to the side, looking into green as May gives a sly smile. You look pretty good for someone over 200 years old. Izuku and All Might both felt their jaws drop. Luckily, Cementos appeared to distract the number one hero with a smile and a thumbs up. If you knew, then why didn't you say anything? 'Cause I wanted to keep some secrets, the inventor said. Two smiling faces waved at her as the door closed, appearing in front of May. Like Mini Might here. Seriously, what happened? He looks like someone stuck him in a large pan and let out the air. That's a long story, Izuku answered, giving a watery chuckle as he pushed his knees up to hide his face. Hey, May? Yeah? Do you think I'm weak? Izuku asked softly. The inventor put her face on her hands and hummed, thinking it over. I mean, that depends. I could have captured those villains just now, helped Eraser and everyone sooner, or gone after the students. Izuku held his hands out in front of him, the memory of red staining them. But I don't know, I just... Look, physically you're strong, May said, tapping Izuku's forehead as hard as possible. But you have some serious PTSD. Izuku hung his head in shame. Yeah. But being a hero means it was bound to happen sooner or later, May continued. I mean, with everything the job throws at you, I'd put some money on some heroes seriously being messed up by now. Now that I think about it. May, focus, Izuku said, looking at the girl. My current problem trumps the hero industry's mental health field. The inventor snorted loudly. More like lack of field, but yeah. Getting back to you. Basically, I don't know what happened, but you need therapy. Like, maybe more than the school can give you. Really? Izuku sulked in his knees again. The inventor raised her fist and gave Izuku a minor blow to the shoulder. Hey, what was that for? I'm here for you, so Mini Might, from the sad look he's giving us, May gestured to the hero, taking with Cemento softly. You're not alone, and if you need someone to talk to, I'll listen. Can't promise I won't make things worse, though. I am kinda, blunt. May smiled and nodded. Blunt, a good word. The two sat shoulder to shoulder momentarily before Izuku leaned slightly into May's warmth. I hate feeling so weak and powerless, Izuku said. The pink-haired inventor knew the feeling. Sucks, doesn't it? Izuku nodded. If it makes you feel a little better, May used her head to gesture to where the other students were. Pretty confident that you have company in your future therapy. The all-or-nothing user made a noise that sounded like he was trying to laugh and cry simultaneously. I had a nephew, Izuku spoke, feeling a familiar prickle in his eyes. His name was. May reached out and covered Izuku's mouth, giving him a severe look. Charming. You don't have to force yourself. I'm not going anywhere. Izuku stared, wide-eyed, at the other before entirely breaking down into tears. I want my brother. The all-or-nothing user cried, letting May pull him into another hug. Nisa? Izuku kept calling out for his brother, repeatedly. Whenever one of the faculty or officers came too close, May would glare a snap and snap her teeth at them. The inventor wasn't moving or letting anyone, not even All Might himself, take Izuku away. May just held her friend and let him call out names of people she never knew of, over and over. Alliance Heights. Mitch-Match's eyes stared at the ceiling, replaying the day's events, hands reaching up and rubbing themselves over Shota's face. Hagakure could have gotten seriously hurt. Using his mother's quirk to threaten some villains was one thing. It may be that hadn't been exactly the right thing either, but those villains had come after Shoto with weapons and quirks. What was the youngest Todoroki to do facing seasoned villains? It wasn't though scary compared to the battle trial when Midoriya went nuts. Still, the fire and ice user couldn't lie to himself and say there wasn't a twinge of something facing such a colossal group. But that was nothing compared to Shota's guilt when he overheard Hagakure mention how cool he was. Fuyumi had been her usual self explaining the dangers of ice. Shota cared for his sister, but when it came to giving hard facts or seeing Endeavor's nature, Fuyumi tried to put on a brave face and make everything sound better than it was. So Shoto had gone to Natsuo. His older brother was a little shocked to say the least, and asked the holder and cold user if Shoto was sure he wanted to know. The pair were further away. Between his two remaining older siblings, Shoto found he was closer to Fuyumi than Natsuo, who he had always heard was very close to Toya before he died. But the medical student had the knowledge Shoto needed, and was just bitter enough to share it. So, taking the leap, Shoto said yes. Later, he got an email detailing everything from frostbite to hypothermia. It was eye-opening to say the least, which made the what-ifs and maybes that could have happened to Hagakure all the scarier. Thank God, Shoto didn't have to go home. Being around Endeavor after the USJ would end in him bruised on the training room floor. But being around Endeavor when Shoto was starting to doubt his mother's quirk as much as his father, sang again, Shoto removed his hands from his face. Bang, bang. Jumping on his futon, Shoto got up and walked to the door. Opening it up, the fire and ice user tried to shut it as soon as he saw pink hair and golden eyes. Unfortunately for Shoto, the inventor seemed to have anticipated this reaction. A steel-toed boot wedged itself in the closing door, preventing it from closing. "Popsicle," May said in a sing-song tone. "Come with me." No way. Shoto tried to close the door again. How was this girl so strong? This was like trying to move Endeavor when they sparred. May pulled her foot out and released her hold on the door, causing Shoto to stumble forward. Mismatched eyes widened slightly before Shoto found the door slammed open, and he had to take a couple of steps backwards. Strong hands reached out and grabbed the other student's collar. "Mandatory couch session," May said, pulling Shoto out of his room. "But I already caught Blasty," the inventor explained, pushing the other into the elevator and pushing to the ground floor button. "And everyone else but you two came quicker, and I knocked on their doors." More like attempted to break them down, Shoto thought, when the elevator dinged. In the center of the common area, all the dual quirk users' classmates were waiting for them. Everyone was dressed in some form of pajamas. Even the students who were just staying overnight in the dorms until a teacher could escort them back to their homes tomorrow looked like they had been able to borrow something to wear. What really caught Shota's attention was Midoriya sitting on the couch. The teacher was buried under who knows how many blankets, leaving only his face visible. And for some reason, his stomach area was moving around. I've never pet a dog before. Shoto looked nervous. How an invisible hand took Shota's and pulled it closer to the dog. Normally you need to ask first, but according to Sensei and Koda, Pooch here is a cuddle whore. Since that's taken care of, you should extend your hand slowly, but do not touch the dog directly yet. "Hagakure, this is a terrible thing to say." Ida stood up, making a chopping motion. Shoto ignored the vice president and did what the invisible girl told him. Keeping his hands slightly back, the young Todoroki heir felt his eyes widen as a cold, wet nose sniffed his palm, pushing it till it covered the small head. None of the Todoroki children have ever had pets, no matter how much they begged their father. Shoto had once overheard Natsuo say that he was getting a cat as soon as he was done with school. One that he would spoil and make up for the years he never got to have one. Pooch barked again and ran towards Izuku, jumping on one side of the boy, turning and barking at Shoto again. "Pooch wishes you to join him and his human," Tokoyami said again. "So says Koda." Dark Shadow popped out suddenly, giving the dog an untrusting look. "Careful, though. He's a man-eater. Tried to take a bite out of me earlier." Dark Shadow. the ribbon-haired student hissed at the sentient quirk. Do shadows taste good? Shoto said, moving to sit next to his teacher. Porch barked happiness, jumping into the dual quirk user's lap. His neck stretched out to lay on Midoriya's lap and stare at him. The boy looked at the dog momentarily before a hand reached out and petted him. All right, everyone, May said, moving away from the large TV. I've got Charming's accounts all hooked up. We're all good to go. Ashido looked up from her spot between Uraraka and Kirishima. What are we watching? Some old Western show? The inventor waved her hand, sitting on the other side of Izuku. Something about ghost? Ribbit, ghost. May got excited when she was watching the promo. I wanted to watch a movie with dragons, but Ashido and Kaminari joined forces with her, and I was outvoted, Izuku explained, hitting the play button to the first episode. We should be afraid. Very afraid. The inventor smiled, grabbing a sketchpad and giving the 2 thumbs up. Kaminari and Ashido turned, returning the gesture. Some students just shrugged and turned their attention back to the TV, while others shifted slightly away from the trio on the couch. Shota only vaguely paid attention to the story on the screen. He was more interested in the gray and white belly on the dog showed him, and what were those things on his feet. For some reason, Shoto wanted to touch them. He likes you, Midoriya said, as the theme music started to play. Shota stayed silent, deciding he liked the dog also. Infirmary. Toshinori gasped and sat up quickly. Their hands clenched the bedsheet so hard his knuckles went white, one name screeching in his brain. Izuku. Laying back on the bed, Toshinori looked at the ceiling. It happened again. He had been pulled deep inside One for All. Instead of the pristine garden, Toshinori was surrounded by shadowy figures, and first, in a strange void. Typically, meeting past users would have been a dream come true for the number 1 hero, but given the severe mood the manifestations were in, they'd likely to have to wait till next time. Toshinori and First had a serious conversation that felt like it had gone on forever. When it was over, a consensus has been reached about how to proceed. Turning his head to look out the window, Toshinori hoped that Izuku wouldn't react like his brother had when second received All for One. Oh my god, is Izuku gonna get All for One? One for all? I swear to god. Why do they have to be so similar? My brain gets them mixed up. One for all. Is Izuku gonna get One for All? Is that how the freaking... No, wait, how many chapters do we have left? What chapter was this one? What? No, we only have 2 chapters left. No, 2 days. No, wait, 2 days. We're gonna finish this really, like, right after Christmas. No. What? Oh my god, is there a third series? Can there be a third series? Nope, this is the last one. Okay, is there gonna be a third series? When was the last time this got... Like, when it got finished, it got completed on... You know what? There could be a third series. It got completed this year, the 7th, which would be the summertime, so maybe there's going to be a third series. We never know. I really hope there's a third series. I really love Fangirls 48's, their fanfictions and stuff like that. I might see if they have any other fanfiction on My Hero Academia. If so, I'll go ahead and ask and podfic it. But I don't want this to end. Okay, so is the ending going to be Izuku getting... All Might's power? And if so, what about the Shigaraki thing? I feel like are we gonna get a third, like, what's it called? Dude, do you know what it's called when you add a thing into a series? A third evolution? Not evolution. It's gonna be called evolution now because I said so. Iteration! There you go. Thank you, brain. Thank you. Now go to sleep. Go to sleep. There's a third... I hope that there's gonna be a third evolution to... I already forgot the word. Whatever. To this iteration to this series, because I don't know. I feel like there's too many loose ends. We got the whole are they gonna... Is Izuku gonna save his brother? We have the whole Shigaraki with Sensei. We got the whole Izuku with the quirk now, the new quirk, the big quirk. Like, how is that going to affect him? He already has a really, really powerful quirk to begin with. How is that going to go about? We have so many things that I don't think could be touched upon in 2 chapters unless the next 2 chapters are like 3, like an hour long each. But even that, like, I feel like, I don't know. I'm worried. I'm worried is what I am. I don't know. I really, are we going to be able to finish this and have a good ending? I really hope we are. I don't know. There's just like, I feel like there's too many loose ends. Is there going to be a third ideation to this series? I really hope there is, just because I really, really like this series. So I'll see. But yeah, as always, my raindrops, make sure to eat, sleep, drink water, take your meds. Have a wonderful day or night. Join our community that I did the old intro, outro again. I can't use my words. Let's start this over again. As always, my raindrops, make sure to eat, sleep, drink water, take your meds. Have a wonderful day or night. Link to my socials and Discord server are down in the description. Subscribe to see more of my content, and thank you so much for watching.